Reflections on 58 Years of the Hambletonian. Reflecting on my journey to the historic Hambletonian as I prepare to witness my 58th consecutive race, I can't help but feel emotional about this special milestone. The 100th Hambletonian will be held on Saturday, August 2nd, and by the time you read this, the final participants for both the Hambletonian and its counterpart, the Hambletonian Oaks, will have been finalized. It's quite a privilege for me to have attended every single one since that first unforgettable event back in 1967. Although I'm uncertain how many more of these I will experience, I am optimistic that I will be in attendance this Saturday. Interestingly, sometimes the race aligns with my birthday, which it did last year, making it a coincidental yet joyous occasion. This year, however, my birthday is just a day after the race, marking my 84th trip around the sun. With that in mind, I would love to share some reflections comparing my early days attending the Hambletonian with the present. In previous articles for Harness Racing Update, I've chronicled each of my earlier experiences leading up to last year's race, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, each a nostalgic journey into the past. I vividly remember my very first Hambletonian in 1967. The excitement I felt was overwhelming, and it felt every bit deserving of its title as America's greatest horse race. This sentiment remains intact despite the change of venue to the Meadowlands, where it is currently held. My initial impressions were quite different compared to the current grandeur, evoking memories of the Little Brown Jug I attended first in 1962, where the charm of a local county fair set the scene. DuQuoin, Illinois, where the inaugural Hambletonian I attended was held, offered a unique atmosphere miles away from the hustle and bustle. Its most notable celebrity at the time was the pool hustler Minnesota Fats, whose fame had reached wider audiences thanks to his portrayal in Paul Newman's classic film, The Hustler. Another interesting tidbit about DuQuoin was the presence of a massive Coca-Cola factory owned by the Hayes family, who also organized the fair and the races. I was fortunate enough to avoid the common travel concerns others might have faced, given that I arrived via a private plane owned by Hanover Shoe Farms, piloted by Gene Harvey. Since DuQuoin lacked an airport of its own, we landed in Carbondale, Illinois, which was just a rental car drive away. On the way, I even spotted the lovely home of Minnesota Fats, adding to the charm of the journey. Our arrival coincided with an evening barbecue held by the Hayes family to celebrate the draw for the race, bringing together nearly everyone in town for the highly anticipated event. As for the race itself, it unfolded with predictability, dominated by the duo of Speedy Streak and Speed Model, both trained by Frank Irvin. While Speedy Streak emerged victorious, Speed Model took the second spot. Unfortunately, Frank was in the hospital recovering from surgery, thus entrusting the reins of Speedy Streak to Del Cameron, who went on to claim his third victory in this prestigious race, while Arthur Holt guided the filly. The victory was particularly sweet for owner K.D. Owen, who had previously endured disappointment when his favorite horse fell short in 1965. Ironically, the very driver who had failed him back then, Del Cameron, helped him secure his win this time. I continued attending the remaining races in DuQuoin, cherishing the experiences until the deeply poignant conclusion in 1980, when Burgomeister, belonging to Peter Houghton and restaurateur Marcello Fiorentino, triumphed under the watchful eye of Houghton's father, Billy. Afterward, the Hambletonian transitioned to the Meadowlands, where it remains to this day. But in the midst of all this, I feel compelled to share a story where I found myself as a silent observer during a pivotal moment in its history. There existed a fierce competition between two contenders, DuQuoin State Fair and Liberty Bell Park, for the rights to host the Hambletonian. An undercurrent of tension surrounded the bidding process, and in the surprising turn of events, Liberty Bell Park edged out DuQuoin by what I was told was a single vote. However, due to an unexpected refusal to adhere to a pre-race training access agreement, which many horsemen relied upon, the event did not take place there, leading to a reopening of bids. The final showdown was between the Meadowlands and DuQuoin, with the Meadowlands emerging as the clear winner. Fast forward to a day or two after that critical decision. I found myself dining with three legends, Max Hempt, Delvin Miller, and John Simpson, at the Penn Harris Hotel in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, right before that year's Harrisburg sale. The dynamics at the table were charged, reflecting two distinct camps. Miller, steadfast his support for the Hayes family and DuQuoin, and Hempt and Simpson, who believed the Hambletonians' move to Illinois was a mistake. It was a complex interplay of friendships and loyalties, punctuated by Miller's frustration at the vote's outcome that led to confrontation over dinner, resulting in a series of surprising and heated exchanges. This moment, while serious at the time, now brings a smile to my face when I recall the image of Miller's small stature taking on Hempt's towering presence, an unforgettable moment etched in my memory. In recalling Miller's quick temper, it's insightful to note how swiftly he would also forgive, as John Simpson often remarked about him. There were several instances over his life where Miller let his emotions fly. One prominent occasion came when he received an award from the U.S. Harness Writers Association, and a snide remark from Liberty Bell's Ed Doherty prompted him to leap off the stage to address the insult. It showcased not only his passion, but his fierce loyalty. Now let's shift to 1981, the inauguration of harness racing at the Meadowlands, a time that remains unmatched and, in many ways, could never be duplicated. Under the exceptional leadership of Bob Quigley and his stellar team, everything was primed for an epic race day. However, two unforeseen blunders marred the experience: the introduction of an admission fee, which felt steep at the time, and especially the adverse weather, which resulted in the race being run in difficult, muddy conditions that significantly impacted attendance. As we look to the future, 2025 marks the centennial celebration of what I believe to be America's premier horse race. Once attended by near 30,000 enthusiasts, the expected crowd of 10,000 to 15,000 this year illustrates a notable shift. The upcoming race appears highly competitive, and while I submitted this piece before the eliminations, your attention might be drawn to four promising competitors: Emoticon Legacy, Go Dog Go, Maryland, and Super Chapter. Personally, I lean towards Go Dog Go as my frontrunner, followed closely by Maryland, Super Chapter, and Emoticon Legacy. But be careful, my past success in handicapping is a distant memory. So who do you think will take the win on this historic day? Do you agree with my choices, or do you have different favorites? I welcome your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Smedshammer Duo challenges for Hambletonian and Oaks titles. U.S. Trotting News. In the world of harness racing, few events carry the prestige and excitement of the Hambletonian and Hambletonian Oaks. These legendary races are the ultimate test for three-year-old trotters, and this year, trainer Tron Smedshammer is stepping into the spotlight once again with two contenders ready to take on the challenge. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Smedshammer isn't just any trainer. He's a seasoned veteran who has already claimed victory in both these iconic races during his career. Now, he's back at the Meadowlands, aiming to etch his name further into the history books. If you're curious about what goes on behind the scenes, you can join Greenma and Wolsby as they train on Smedshammer's picturesque farm, or watch an insightful interview with him conducted by Wendy Ross of the USTA. https://www.usta.com. This gives fans a unique glimpse into the dedication and expertise required to prepare horses for such high-stakes competitions. Hightstown, New Jersey. For those unfamiliar, the Hambletonian and Hambletonian Oaks are not just races. They represent milestones in a trainer's career. Winning either is considered a monumental achievement, but capturing both? That places you among an elite group of only 12 trainers in history, and Smedshammer is one of them. His first major triumph came in 2004, when Winsong's Legacy stormed to victory in the Hambletonian, ultimately completing the coveted Trotting Triple Crown. The colt, driven by Smedshammer himself, became the first horse since Super Bowl in 1972 to win all three jewels of the crown, the Hambletonian, Yonkers Trot, and Kentucky Futurity. It was a historic moment that solidified Smedshammer's reputation as a master tactician. Fast forward to 2024, and Smedshammer is gearing up for another shot at glory. On Saturday, he'll be driving Greenma in the 100th edition of the Hambletonian Stakes at the Meadowlands, affectionately known as the Big M. Last week, Greenma narrowly missed victory in his elimination heat, finishing second by just a nose to Emoticon Legacy in a blistering time of 151.4. Despite drawing post 9, which poses its own set of challenges, Greenma has been listed at 25-1 odds on the morning line for the $1 million Grade 1 final, and there's more to the story. In addition to Greenma, Smedshammer will also drive Walspia in the Hambletonian Oaks, a $500,000 Grade 1 showdown for 3-year-old female trotters. Walspia finished third in her elimination round, trailing the winner Miss Belmar by just 1 length in a time of 152.3. She drew post 8 _test.trottingnews.com/McCarthy opts for Miss Belmar in Oaks for the final and has been given 12-1 odds, a number that might ring a bell for longtime fans, as Smedshammer previously won the Oaks in 2008 with Creamy Mimi, who triumphed at the exact same odds. Greenma's journey to the Hambletonian final has been nothing short of impressive. The gelding has consistently performed well this season, hitting the board in all 9 of his starts, including 4 wins and 4 runner-up finishes. A pivotal moment came after a June 8 division of the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes at Pocono Downs, where Greenma finished second behind Meshuggah, another Hambletonian finalist. After witnessing the horse's remarkable closing speed, 3 wide in a second 26.4, Smedshammer confidently told owner Wanda Poliseni of Purple Haze Stables that Greenma had the potential to compete in the Hambletonian. He shouldn't have been able to close like that, Smedshammer recalled. It was incredibly difficult, but he did it anyway. I told Wanda right after that race that if he keeps racing like that, we've got a real Hambo contender on our hands. He's still very green and inexperienced, though. During the eliminations last Saturday night, he got overly excited and was tough to handle, but he almost pulled off the win. This Saturday, however, we're facing an uphill battle. Reflecting on his past successes, Smedshammer fondly remembers Winsong's legacy, the horse that helped him secure his place in history. That was something special, he said. It's hard to believe it's been 21 years already. He was a cool horse, no question about it. He often struggled in the eliminations, but in the finals, he always showed up. Meanwhile, Walspia brings her own legacy to the table. Her family tree includes Lookout Victory, the 1995 Hambletonian Oaks champion, this season. Walspia has won 3 of her 7 races and added a second and 2/3. Prior to her Oaks elimination, she finished third behind Yo Tilly and Ladylandia in a division of the Del Miller Memorial at the Meadowlands. Owned by Purple Haze Stables and M3 Racing Stable, Walspia is described by Smedshammer as quick, agile, and naturally gifted, but with room to grow. She's so handy, so quick, and moves beautifully, Smedshammer explained. The only issue is that she doesn't always give 100%. Still, she raced well in the elimination. We came home in 27 flat for the last quarter, and most of these trotters can't sustain much faster than that. 2 of the Oaks eliminations were won in 152.3, while the other clocked in at 152.4. When asked about Walspia's chances, Smedshammer remained cautiously optimistic. She's capable of running those kinds of times, he noted. Racing kicks off at noon EDT on Saturday at the Meadowlands. The Hambletonian Oaks is scheduled as race 10, with a post time of 3:37 p.m., while the Hambletonian is set for race 12, starting at 4:47 p.m. Fans eager to follow the action can tune in to Fox Sports from 3 to 6 p.m. for comprehensive coverage of Hambletonian Day. For free program pages and additional resources, visit the Meadowlands official website here, accessPlayMeadowlands.com/download programs. So what do you think? Can Smedshammer pull off another historic win, or will the competition prove too fierce? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your predictions.